Hello, I'm Calum, Lieto, editor of HR Grapevine magazine, and today we are here at Google's offices to interview Carly Olsen-Haveland, the head of People Development, Northern and Central Europe for sales. Hello Carly, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. I hope you're well. Your official title is Head of People Development, Northern and Central Europe sales. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
So what kind of things does that involve for you?
Well, the full range really of people development, right from the moment somebody walks in the door and we start onboarding them, to actually giving them specific sales skills, because the role is focused purely on our sales area in our large sales community. And also the whole piece around sales coaching and any of the leadership aspects that come out of that as well. So quite a broad range.
Yeah. Now, one thing about Google is your brand is very strong. Both your commercial brand and your employer brand. Everybody seems to want to work for Google, which is a very good thing in your position, but how do you maintain that?
I think one of the things is, and you're absolutely right, you know, the external perception of the brand is very strong. And internally, I think the external brand drives that internal desire to work for Google, which is great for us. And I think one of the reasons we managed to retain and maintain that position in terms of getting very bright people to come and work for us is the fact that we offer, from a people development perspective, great opportunities for people to continuously learn. So they come in with a great strength of knowledge already, and we're in a position where we can help them develop their careers further and keep building their skill sets all through their time at Google.
Okay, so now obviously there's such a strong interest in Google. You know, recently there was a film that was released called The Internship with Vince and Wilson, and they referred to I guess the recruitment process as like a mental Hunger Games. Now that's obviously a bit of an exaggeration, but how do you choose between candidates when you've got such a strong interest?
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to say that The Internship is a piece of fiction.
Yeah.
Just wanted to be very clear. Some people have actually asked me, was it part, you know, a really serious documentary type movie? Yes, one of the things around why we are pretty specific about how we recruit people is we want not only the best people to come and work for us, but we want to be able to ensure that we are maintaining that culture once people are on board. And it's also about ensuring that there's the tie-in between individuals' wants and the business need. And we have actually reduced the Hunger Games element. It isn't quite as dramatic as I know even from colleagues that have worked here much longer than I have said. It's much more realistic in terms of focusing on the real business need of that individual. So I know that there's been books written about and stories about the sorts of questions that used to be asked, and that has gone away. It's much more around understanding somebody's contribution to the business and not getting them to answer sort of quiz questions, even if they are very intense quiz questions.
When you're recruiting, you know, it's been in the news that university degrees aren't paramount. So what are you looking for when you are recruiting? What are the aspects that you want from candidates?
Just to underpin something you just said there, we are still looking for people who've had tertiary education experience, and also people who've had, especially experienced hires, who've had long-term experience in a particular area that we're looking for. Where we have moved is from just focusing on the top 5% from the top universities. So we are moving away from just Oxbridge, and we are looking at people who maybe have 2-1s as opposed to first-class honours. So that's when we talk about moving away from the university piece. We're having a much broader vision of who is the right person to work at Google, because when we're understanding that it's experience as well as the intellectual capacity.
There's such tough competition around your employer brand. You know, being able to attract the best people is really great, but obviously the best people have the best options. So how do you retain that talent?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And we do have a range of processes and options in terms of, I mean, wearing my hat as head of people dev for Northern Europe for the sales group. A lot of that is around the people development opportunities. So we have great learning opportunities for people, and also great opportunities for them to do things in different countries in our region, have different roles, very stretched assignments, attend seminars, speak at seminars. So there's a range of learning, and it's not just about being in the classroom. So all of that together, and giving people the opportunity to be leaders in their field and to try and test things out. I think that's one of the reasons why we've got such good retention.
And obviously you have a very strong focus on people development. What kind of programs do you have that allow employees to progress within Google?
Again, within the sales function, we're looking at specifically sales skills and sales coaching. In addition to the sales focus, they also have access to everything else that Google offers within the people development space. And that's a whole range of areas around leadership development as well. And also we have a rather, I think, having been in Google a year, I still love this, the fact that we have what we call our G2G program, so Googler to Googler. And Googlers will share all sorts of learning from their passions to other Googlers, as well as our actual sales skills type programs. So, for example, we have somebody who teaches medieval sword fighting. And it's, it could be French, it could be Spanish, it could be some chemistry, it could be all of those additional external to work kind of learning, as well as the learning piece. And I think that's the other reason that Googlers love being here, because they can learn not just the direct things that affect the day job, but also some of the other things around life skills, although I'm not sure about medieval sword fighting.
And, I mean, what do you foresee, I guess, for HR in general and analytics and the use of data?
The analytics part, I personally believe, and more people within the HR field, I believe do as well, is that it's the core strength of HR. The ability to be able to explain to the business and tell the business story around what the people investment is really achieving in terms of return on that investment is absolutely, the real issue around that saying that, our people are our most important asset. Without the analytics, I think that's quite hard to be able to deliver to the bottom line.
And finally, what other benefits does Google offer that may be a little bit less known?
Well, in addition to things like the free food and the lovely places and spaces, and some of what is now considered corporate offerings in terms of healthcare, etc., what we're doing in Google is looking in terms of our overall global markets, and rather than having a one-size-fits-all approach, working with individuals where they are and what fits in with their culture and their actual needs. And those things are always changing, and they're consistently bringing in new approaches and new benefits that fit people as they go along in their career. So it's not a shopping list that I can offer you.